Solitude. Lonely Cicero could tell you a thing or two about solitude.
Oh my god. Hey guys, what's going on, peeps? My name is MrRhexx and we are back with some more Elder Scrolls Skyrim. On the last episode, we did the first half of the quest line that deals with Potema, one of the most villainous characters in the Elder Scrolls world, at least, well, certainly for Skyrim, but might even be the case for the entirety of Elder Scrolls. She started a war just by herself and is known to be this terrible necromancer that would only bring misery and death upon the world if she were to be summoned back into the world of the living. And we're here basically to stop that. We did one quest already where her soul was attempted to be imprisoned so that she could be bound to some necromancers, but we know that her body's actually out there somewhere because we are omnipotent and we know basically what happens. But the world doesn't know yet. Falk Firebeard from the courts doesn't actually know that yet, so we actually have to wait for him to give us a letter saying that they need our help in order to get rid of her, essentially. We'll talk about that in just a minute. First, and I'll explain why I want to start this quest, and I'll tell you guys why in a minute.
You're passing through Solitude? Maybe you're looking to make some easy gold, yes?
Yes, I am, actually. What do you have in mind?
It's easy to find things to sell. Things nobody will miss. Things from underground, or just left lying around in someone's house. I bet the two of us were very alike. So why not take the next step? We can help each other. My sister Deja and I are treasure hunters. We like to collect things.
I'm listening.
I knew you looked like a clever one. With the war, many more ships come through these docks, loaded with weapons and pay, but few people, and they pass through dangerous waters. We have an interest in one of those boats, the ICERUNNER. The Solitude Lighthouse will be guiding it in, but if its fire were to go out, the ICERUNNER would run aground.
So you want me to put out the lighthouse fire?
What an interesting idea. I think if someone were to do something like that, there would definitely be a certain amount of loot to be shared. Yes, if someone were to put out the lighthouse fire and then meet me on the docks afterwards, I could certainly direct them to that loot.
Okay, but what would happen to the sailors on the boat? I'm really concerned about them.
Don't worry about them. We'll make sure they wash up safe.
Okay.
Maybe they'll even pay us for their heroic rescue from their sad crash.
Oh wow. Well, when you put it like that, I guess I am sold. I wouldn't want anyone to get hurt.
It would be best if we spoke little until you've completed your task.
Yes, of course, sir. I will get right away in doing this. So the thing is, the game wants to have us wait a little bit of time before they move us over to the next stage of the Potema questline. And the way it does about doing that is the game will wait until we level up. And then after we level up, it'll, at an unknown time, they will send us a letter from Falk Firebeard telling us that, oh no, Potema is actually out and about, we need your help, right? So we basically have to wait for that to happen. So yeah, we're going to be doing this small series of quests where we're going to be working for a couple of Argonians and trying and set up a crash from the ICERUNNER. Now, the ICERUNNER, of course, sort of like a little bit of a member of the East Empire Company, appears to be a little bit of a famous, I don't know about famous, but it's a popular ship that crosses the Sea of Ghosts quite regularly. And we know that because there's actually a quest in this game, in Skyrim, that does deal with a character that was indeed in the ICERUNNER, and it tells us a little bit about maybe some of the routes that the ICERUNNER takes, because this particular individual basically set out from Bravil into Skyrim in an attempt to enter a dungeon, I guess, here in Skyrim. And it's interesting because the character does talk a little bit about the ICERUNNER, a little bit about some of the crew and all that stuff. Though I would imagine that at some point we might hit that quest and talk a little bit more about the ICERUNNER. There really isn't. I don't know when actually we would do the quest. The quest is located in a Dwemer, not a Dwemer, an ancient Nordic dungeon that I believe is like right here. Like it's actually very, very close to the crash that we're about to make. So that should be That should be a little bit interesting, I think. Well, now what's really interesting is the East Empire Company, which of course we will be kind of dealing with a little bit. Of course, that's, you can kind of see it from here, the offices of the East Empire Company, because many people don't know actually what it is that they are supposed to do if they're just kind of like, just like a normal shipping company. And the reality of it is that they're sort of like the only shipping company, and that's essentially the idea behind them in the first place. See, the Emperor, well, the Empire specifically owns this particular shipping company, and they have constructed the business so as to make it as close to a monopoly as it is possible, in the sense that there's actually a lot of materials, a lot of trade things that I'm not sure what word to use, but like there's a lot of markets that are specifically cornered by the East Empire Company because they would otherwise be illegal to trade in. So for example, raw ebony, right? So the ebony ore that you see all around Skyrim when you make your weapons and armor, like that's actually illegal for you to be able to trade in. Like technically speaking, if you have a mine, like an ebony mine, you're not supposed to mine that ore and then sell it as a business. Like that's illegal. And they did that because they wanted to make sure that the government, that the Emperor, had full access to every single ebony ore mine, and then basically they wanted to be able to sell it at an enormous profit, because if they control the market, they can control the price, and they can just gouge the price out of, you know, oblivion, which does make sense. If you see it from like two different points of views, it would be nice, because like when you think about ebony ore, it is kind of like one of the strongest materials in the world. I mean, really, like it's stronger than steel, iron, bronze, whatever, right? Like it's literally right in there directly before Daedric armor, right? Like it's basically up in there. So you want to make sure that you as the government control all of it, especially in the sense that you don't want your enemies to have it, you don't want bandits to have it, you don't want the elves to have it. So that's kind of crucial. And there's a lot of ebony, of course, that grows up here in the north in Empire controlled territories. Jesus Christ, Cicero.
Cicero.
You are...
Cicero is at your... Home again! Home again! I'll return to the Night Mother straight away.
It was a huge mistake to let you guys vote on the follower. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick... Oh, I'm sorry. That was pretty loud there. I think my microphone spiked. I think I'm going to pick the second highest voted character for the follower, because Cicero just... It's just not working, man. Come on. There you go. Put out the fire in the Solitude Lighthouse. It's, you know, it does make sense. You don't want ebony to be gotten by your enemies, by pirates, by bandits, by the elves, of course. It's kind of like a very popular material. But really, I mean, let's be honest here. The biggest reason why the Empire would want complete monopoly over ebony would be for the enormous prices that they could gouge people over, right? Like if you're a blacksmith, if you're an adventurer, if you're a private military, you want ebony armor, you want ebony weapons, and you're gonna have to pay, right? Like one of your butt cheeks in order to be able to afford them, and that's exactly what the Emperor wants. In fact, the Emperor, just to give you guys an idea of how close the East Empire Company is to the Emperor actually gets to choose the board members. Like, I believe there's 4 board members. I'm not sure how many of them there are, but the Emperor basically gets to choose who is going to lead the company. So, and then on top of that, they specifically target certain markets and just completely shut them down so that only the East Empire Company can actually deal with them. And the raw ebony is just like one example of them. You also have, and this might sound interesting to you, the Dwemer artifacts. So if you find a Dwemer dungeon, you're actually not allowed to go in there and mine that dungeon in order to sell the Dwemer artifacts. You're supposed to sort of like bring that commerce over to the Emperor, to the Empire, to the East Empire Company, so that they can then sell it. So it's particularly interesting, and most of this information actually comes from Morrowind, because the East Empire Company does have a lot of dealings, specifically in Morrowind. That's even like a faction that you can join. So most of the information sort of comes here. I'm sorry, Cicero. I feel kind of bad. Yeah, okay, back away. I do feel a little bit bad. Now, it's cool. There's a character in here. I don't know if he's gonna be angry with me. Let's see. It's kind of a nice place that kind of almost like a little bit hidden.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Or I will call the guards.
All right. Sorry, dude. Let's get the hell out of here. He's getting a little bit angry. So, the thing about this guy, Masaka is his name. He's kind of a sweetheart. You can tell that he didn't look like a sweetheart. He was a little bit upset that we were here. He's actually, it's funny, he's one of the only Khajiits in the game that is like not part of a caravan, but also not a bandit, which is kind of rare. And he just lives here completely alone. And his job, literally his only job, is to make sure that the brazier, that the fire keeps burning on the lighthouse. So we're kind of screwing him over a little bit. The thing is, he's always lonely. And let me see if I can actually show this if I go inside, because yeah, look at all the wine. It's so empty. Like, it's all empty.
You are leaving.
Okay. Jesus. He's just very sad and very lonely. He's just kind of spending his time just drinking in there. So typically when you come here, like if you were to just, on any other quest, if you were to come here and talk to him, he would be a sweetheart. He would just be like, oh, thank you so much for coming over and visiting me, or blah, blah, blah. Like, he tells you some stories about his, like, times fishing, basically. But they kind of designed him so that during this one particular quest, if you talk to him, he is sort of aggressive against you. You're kind of like, you're not supposed to be here and all that stuff, which is kind of sad. But it's interesting because he's actually one of the only characters. He might actually be the only character in the game that has a completely, like, opposite sleeping schedule, because he's supposed to keep the fires of the lighthouse burning all night, and he has to make sure that they keep burning because of what could happen, ironically, if that's not the case. Because of that, he actually sleeps from 8 a.m. all the way till 4 p.m. So he sleeps during the day and is awake all night. So normally, yeah, if you want to visit him, you have to come over at night and talk to him, which is kind of cool. I don't know if there's any other character actually that shares that same sleeping schedule. I'm actually not sure. I certainly wouldn't know anything about that. Now that is the dainty Slode. We probably should get it here, just so that we can fast travel to it if we get the chance at some point. We're actually going to be doing this little mini dungeon as part of the Thieves Guild, I believe. So, you know, we don't have to deal with that at all. In fact, I'll just leave it for then. But the dainty Slode is interesting because some of you, like those of you who are not too familiar with the lore of Elder Scrolls might not even know what a Slode is. A Slode is one of the greatest enemies of Elder Scrolls. Like, we talked about it before, how, like, elves are essentially, like, the biggest villain in Elder Scrolls in a way. And of course, you all know how treacherous and evil Daedrus can be. But those are just sort of two of the four main enemies of Elder Scrolls, right? So you have the elves, you have the Daedrus, you have the Akaviri, the Taeski snake people, which come from the east, and then you have the Slodes, right? Which are the creatures that the boat is named after. They're kind of like these sluggish, kind of toad-looking people. They live in the water. Most of them would live literally underground, while others would live in what is called the Thracian Archipelago, which is like this collection of isles to the west. And they're like crazy necromancers. They like speak to each other telepathically, like they levitate, like they're like crazily advanced. And for the most part, if we do get Elder Scrolls 6 set in Hammerfell, we'll most definitely see those guys. I would imagine that, yeah, indeed, if we play in Elder Scrolls 6 Hammerfell, that those guys would probably be the one of the biggest enemies there, I would imagine. And now, honestly, I do think that that's where we're probably gonna go. Like, of course, I've been thinking about this a lot, like where Elder Scrolls 6 would be. And especially now that in Elder Scrolls Online, it just got released, well, not just got released, but basically teased that the next DLC is going to be in Elsewhere. It kind of just leaves Hammerfell open, because when you look at Elder Scrolls Online, we already have basically all of High Rock explored. Like the entirety of the High Rock map in Elder Scrolls Online is accessible. Like you can see the entirety of the province. And now that we're getting an Elsewhere expansion, I would imagine that basically all, if not most of Elsewhere is going to be explorable. So that kind of takes a little bit of the hype, I would say, away. Like if we were to have an Elder Scrolls 6 High Rock, it just wouldn't be as exciting.
You probably want someone else. I'm just the stable boy.
Yeah, I want someone else's yeah. Sorry, dude. It just wouldn't be as exciting because we've already been there. We've already done that. We've already explored the place. But that's not really the case with Hammerfell. We do have access to a specific part of Hammerfell, like some locations close to the Iliac Bay, but the rest of Hammerfell is just kind of inaccessible. So that's my guess, that it's going to be in Hammerfell, and that's the reason why I think that's going to be the case. Not sure how I got into that topic. I just kind of went on this big rambling thing. Whatever.
Looks like you had no trouble.
I put out the lighthouse fire.
The effects have already been felt. The ICERUNNER has failed to dock on time.
Oh no.
Without the lighthouse, the ICERUNNER will have swung wide of the western shoal and run aground on the eastern coast. My sister Dija will be at the wreck with our Black Blood marauders. She knows to expect you.
Black Blood marauders? You didn't say anything about marauders. I thought that this was just gonna be like a job for us, and that no one's gonna get hurt.
Get moving. I'll see if I can't delay any patrols out there.
So you're the leader of this group?
Dija and I are more like the representatives here in Solitude. None of the Blackbloods can show themselves without being arrested.
Okay, that's interesting. And why didn't your men put out the fire?
The Blackblood marauders are very identifiable. I didn't want anyone thinking the Blackbloods were getting too bold.
Okay.
Until next time.
So by the way, to get those extra dialogue options, you have to talk to him again after he gives you the quest, and you can ask him those last two things, which I think is kind of cool because he talks about the marauders being very easily identifiable. And I guess we'll see why in just a minute. Is there a quicker way for me to make it here? I guess I can use the abandoned shack. We got this for the Dark Brotherhood quest line, so we can go ahead and use it. We should be allowed to be a little bit lazy here. Get there. But yeah, I want to show you guys why they're particularly identifiable, which I think is kind of interesting. And there it is. The ICERUNNER crash. I mean, it's crazy, actually. Crazy hard to be able to navigate, I would imagine, like a ship. Just all throughout this place. It's kind of crazy. It's all misty and... I don't know. Currently, it is kind of dark, isn't it? Yeah. I don't even know where the lighthouse is. Lighthouse would be, like... over there? Maybe I'm just blind. I literally cannot see it. Yeah, I think it's all the way farther over there. Okay. Oh boy, I really hope that all of those sailors are safe and sound, like I was promised.
Did you hear something?
Are you okay? Oh, they're gonna be fighting some kind of horker or something. So let's take a look at this, guys, if he lets me. He's gonna be moving along because there's like an enemy or something. If you see those tattoos that they have on their face, kind of look like little lightnings or antlers or something. It's hard to see because he's not letting me. I don't think if there's a better... I could use... Yeah, let's do this. Might be a little bit dangerous because I don't want to glitch the game. That's not what I should have done. This one. There it is. Let's look for this one. Has like... Man, it is very difficult to see, isn't it? Yeah, the lightning is not being too kind to me. Nah, it's a little bit better. It's interesting because those tattoos by the neck, kind of like an antler lightning sort of situation, I don't believe is actually accessible in the character creation screen. I think this is like completely unique to the Blood Marauders. But that's interesting because this kind of tells you a few things, right? It tells you that these guys are actually famous, right? The reason that they don't want to go into Solitude is because...
Take this and hold on to it.
Oh.
I'll be back for it later.
What are you doing here?
Don't lose it.
We're robbing a ship, dude.
No time to talk. Snitch or double cross me and I'll kill you. I mean it.
Oh, you look like you mean it, bro.
Look a bit.
And he's gonna go inside. Wait, where's this guy going? Are you gonna... This is like the weirdest thing. Anyways, clearly these guys are famous because they would be recognized in Solitude. And the reality is that they actually kind of are. They used to be pirates before they started marauding. The reason why they stopped being pirates was because the place where they set up their ship, which is like the hidden oak, whatever, grotto, I think is hidden or grotto, I think is what it's called. It's like this enormous cave. We'll get to actually that location real soon, but it's this enormous cave where they actually had their ship, and it was like their own pirate's den, right? The whole place just kind of, the entrance to the place caved in, so they basically got blocked inside. Their ship got blocked inside, so they couldn't pirate anymore, and now they're stuck doing this, which I think is kind of interesting. But they really must have been pretty famous in order to be recognized by literally anyone. Actually, I don't want to use oaken. You guys have been telling me to use my my oak flesh a lot, and I'll try to keep that in mind. I will just attempt to. Oh no, they actually killed the sailors. Huh. I did not see that coming, dude. That is such a shame. Like, at this point, I feel like I should... Dear God, it's just blood random everywhere. This is the point where I should start like, oh well, not with this guy. This guy, natural crashing causes death. I don't feel too bad about. Actually, I am literally the one to blame for that. Not even they are. That's just like all of me too. And there you are.
My brother told me you were coming. I'm supposed to give you what you've earned.
So we're splitting the loot then, right?
Ha! I'm afraid the loot's already been moved.
What?
You've been useful to the Black Bloods, though. You've earned a quick death.
Oh no, I've been fooled. I've made a grand fool. Let me oak flesh this time. Yeah. We really should just to like, yeah, increase our alterations. Bound sword. Oh, we have the level, so hopefully we'll be sent a letter soon to complete Potema's quest. There you go. The sister has been killed. We'll take our lockpick, some gold, and a note from Jari Ra. What is this note about? Sister, once you have picked up the packages, send them to me, unto me, at Broken Ore Grotto. The fool who did her work at the lighthouse should arrive shortly thereafter. Make sure that he is taken care of. It's kind of sad, and it doesn't make much sense that, like, I mean, I'm an extremely competent fighter. I feel like I don't know why they wouldn't just let me in, like, into the group. Like, it makes no sense. Like, why would they want to try and kill me? These guys are already paying a bunch of pirates. Why not just pay one additional pirate is really what I'm asking for here. But yeah, we'll talk about the Marauders a little bit more on the next episode, because we're actually gonna be entering their little sanctuary, and we'll see what they have to say about themselves and the captain that leads them. Because, like, as Jari Ra said, he's actually not the captain, he's just a representative, so they're still the captain to deal with after we deal with these guys, which I think is particularly interesting. What's also interesting is that the game sort of makes us assume that there's only two brothers, essentially, the Jari Ra and, what was the name of the woman? I just said sister, I don't remember her name. Deemra or something? There's actually one more brother to this family, even though the game doesn't actually tell you. You can actually find... Oh, these are the few... I'll just kill you now, dude. Get out of here. I'll keep your bow of frost or whatever he gave me. There's actually another brother to this band of thieves, and the brother is also a thief. He's actually, if you remember, during the Thieves Guild quest line, it is that guy in the Solitude dock. Not in the docks. I think he's like up in the in one of the bars in Solitude. He's been doing this. He's like been working with the Thieves Guilds, and he's doing this side business with the with Carlia. You probably recognize the Argonian that I'm talking about. Well, he is supposed to be Jarirah's brother, according to the creation kit. According to the actual like notes of the game, they're supposed to be brothers, but the game, for whatever reason, they just kind of like never mentioned it, which is kind of bizarre. But anyways, that's gonna be it for the video. Just a nice, quick, easy 20-minute video. Next episode, we'll see about just doing the Broken Ore Grotto, talking a little bit about the Marauders, and we'll see if we can answer some questions. I just want to have a nice, chill, relaxing time talking about just the general stuff around us. But I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Of course, as always, make sure to follow me on Twitter. Keep tabs on me and my shenanigans, and if you can, please go and support the channel over on patreon.com/MrRhexx. Every little bit that you can give is appreciated tremendously. Some of you guys have already been doing it since I sort of mentioned it on the last episode, and I'm thank you guys so much for supporting me, as you guys of course do. And if you can't do any of those, then at least give me a like on the video. That's always appreciated. A comment if you can, and I will see you all next time.